Hey, good morning, YouTube. I found out, kind of by accident, that yesterday was our neighbor Rosemary's birthday. Now, Rosemary's a sweetheart of a gal, probably around 84, 85, and she checks in on me and Rick, and we check in on her, and I thought, it'd be a fun thing to take her cookies for her birthday. I receive a lot of requests for these, so I figured, hey, why not take YouTube along as well? I don't have an official name for these. They're commonly referred to as the raspberry cookies. It's a recipe that I kind of changed around and adapted to my own liking, so I really don't have a name for them. To get started, we're going to cream 1 cup of butter and 1/2 cup of sugar. Now I'm using 1 stick of butter and 1 stick of margarine. Typically, I do not like margarine. It is not a natural product. But in this case, it works because margarine has slightly different melting properties than butter. So we're going to throw in 1/2 butter, 1/2 margarine into our mixer. We're going to put in 1/2 cup of sugar. We're going to cream those together. Now, if you don't have one of these are fabulous. The standard KitchenAid mixing blade looks like this. And what happens when you cream butter and sugar, it rides up around the sides of the bowl and kind of hangs out on top. Now, if you look at this one, it has a rubber edge here on the side, and that's going to wipe down the side of the bowl and keep everything down in the mixer where it belongs. So we'll cream the butter and sugar together. I wanted to take a moment and show you this so you can see exactly how the rubber edges on the side of the beater are keeping the butter and sugar mixture down in the bowl where they should be instead of riding up the sides. Now let's slow this down here, and this is exactly what you're looking for. It's kind of nice, creamy, almost, I don't know if I want to say slightly fluffy looking, and a little bit paler in color. So this is perfect. So now that we have our butter and sugar creamed together, we are going to add 1 egg. We'll make sure that's incorporated into the mixture nicely. Alright, now that our egg is blended in, we are going to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And at this point, I am going to stop the mixer and scrape down the sides just a little bit, just to make sure that everything is getting incorporated nicely into our mixture. Now in this bowl, we have 2 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I'm just going to take a whisk, kind of whisk this around, make sure there's no lumps in here. And we will slowly start to add this into our butter and sugar mixture. Alright, and here we have our perfectly blended cookie dough. You don't want to overmix this, just enough until it's blended. Now that our cookie dough is blended nicely, I took a rubber spatula, just went around the edge just to make sure everything was incorporated. And now we're going to take our cookie scoop and we'll scoop them out onto ungreased baking sheets. Okay, now that we have our cookies scooped out and onto our sheet pans, clean hands, I'm going to take these and I'm just going to roll it into a nice little ball. And I'm going to dip my finger in just a little bit of flour and make an indentation right in the center. So take the cookie dough, roll it into a ball, make a little dent there, and that's where our raspberry jam is going to go. on our sheet pans, ready to go. We're going to take about a half a cup of raspberry jam. Make sure it is seedless. You don't want seeds in your cookies. Just fill that into a zip top bag. Snip off the end. And what we're going to do is we're just going to pipe this into all the indentations here we made in our cookies. Now that we have our seedless raspberry jam in the center of each cookie, we're going to put these in the fridge for about 20 minutes, and that's just to let them firm up a little bit so they don't spread too far in the oven. So in the fridge these go. Preheat the oven to 350 and we'll be right back. So it's been 20 minutes now, and I just put our cookies into our preheated 350 degree oven. Now these cookies are going to bake for about 10 to 12 minutes. You're not really looking for them to brown. You just want them to develop just a little bit of color along the bottom edge and on the bottom. Our cookies have come out of the oven, and I let them sit on the baking sheet for about 2 to 3 minutes to kind of cool down and firm up a little bit before moving them to the aluminum foil. As you can see, they're not browned. They're just done. They're just cooked through, and that's exactly what you're looking for. So now we get to have some fun with these. Here's what we're going to do. In this zip top bag, I have a mixture of 1 cup of powdered sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, and about 1.5 tablespoons of milk. Blend that up, put it in the zip top bag. What we're going to do is we're going to basically pipe or drizzle this mixture over the cookies, and that's going to give it just that visual something to give it that extra appeal. So if we snip the corner off here, we're just going to drizzle these right over the cookies. And here we have the final product. How good did these look? If you were to take these cookies to a holiday party or a Christmas cookie exchange, your guests will be wowed by these cookies. The cookie itself is very tender. You've got the sweetness from the raspberry. You've got the visual appeal from the icing. You cannot go wrong with these cookies. So I'm going to take these over to our neighbor Rosemary to go say happy birthday, and I hope you make these at home as well.